with South Africa, recording a high number of the cases. But, the latest research or the latest data has shown that even though, yes, the number of cases are a bit increasing, there is no cause of concern because the number of deaths has not increased in South Africa. So maybe this is why one of the reasons why African countries are lamenting over the results from other richer countries like UK, who are really taking this a little high notch by restricting movement, restricting flights into some of these countries. A country like Japan, Morocco has blocked entry of foreigners into the country. So this is some of the measures that, the World Health Organization is, telling countries, do not rush to do this, because at the end of the day, these variants have been recorded in these richer nations, these countries that have high number of vaccines, but, not a lot of, hard measures have been put against these countries compared to what has been done to African countries. But then maybe just to take it a notch further is, as a country, Kenya, we received about 4.6 million vaccines yesterday. This was from Germany. So 4.2 is Johnson & Johnson, and 0.4 million is AstraZeneca. So we can see that this is some of the measures that the Kenyan government is putting to ensure that, we protect ourselves, and we also hit the 10 million target, which was set by the Ministry of Health and also the national government in general.
Sada, you talk about the vaccines that are still coming in. So far, then the latest consignment is 4.6 million vaccines. The government is calling upon Kenyans to come out and be vaccinated. Perhaps are the numbers still low in terms of vaccine uptake? Where are we so far? Because that is quite something that has not been focused on lately or given so much limelight so far. But what are the numbers, if you've been able to gather anything to deal with the vaccine uptake in the country so far?
All right, so as of yesterday, we had a total of 7.5 million Kenyans who have received their vaccines. This can be either first dose or, second dose. I would say this is an increase compared to last week, around Wednesday, when we were at about 6.5 million, people who have received their vaccines. So we can say there's an increase over time compared to last week. And right now, we are still waiting to see if by the time we hit December 31st, we will have surpassed the 10 million target. And also, worldwide, the World Health Organization is calling for countries to at least reach the 10 million, 10% of having their populations vaccinated. So it is quite an interesting period. The Ministry of Health is really rallying for many Kenyans to get vaccinated. Among Kenyans, we have people who are still questioning, are these vaccines safe? Are they effective? Why are we hurrying to, get such vaccines? But, so far from the research, we know that the vaccines are safe. But still, it is something that we are looking out to see if Kenyans will turn up, but so far we see we've hit 7.5 million people who have received the vaccines, and so far as a country we have 17 million vaccines that we have received as a country.
Indeed, of course, there is so much coming in from the health desk, and we will be conversing much more about the various inventions, including that Apple Watch invention. We will talk about that later. But before then, I've been speaking to Sada Hassan, our health and science reporter right here in studio. There is a first Governors Roundtable to discuss the role of micro, small and medium enterprises as backbone of Kenya's economic growth at Strathmore University. Economy Desk Editor Abby Agina is following up on this story and now joins us by way of phone. Good morning, Abby. What would be perhaps some of the possible outcomes or, outcomes of this meeting that is happening today at Strathmore University? What are counties and governors especially, or to be specific, looking forward to achieving today?
Well, good morning indeed, my good friend and brother. A lot happening here at Strathmore University in regards to the medium-sized enterprises. The clarion call here is counties are being actually encouraged to work very closely, especially with small businesses, the counties. And this is for the simple reason that micro, small and medium enterprises play an important role in Kenya's economy, contributing towards poverty reduction, job creation and income generation. And of course, Maringa, SMEs face a number of challenges that limit the growth of their businesses, which often excludes them from investment and trade opportunities. And this particular forum is currently underway here at the Strathmore University. We have 6 governors who are present in this roundtable discussion. Representation from Isiolo, Nakuru, Kisumu, Makueni, Mombasa, and Kiambu counties. And this, of course, comes hot on the heels that for Kenya to industrialize, we need to prioritize the SME agenda. And all this is being championed by the United States government through US aid. And the eventual outcomes from this forum, Maringa, is simply to address the major challenges that impede the growth of MSMEs, which include insufficient access to enterprise financing, poor adaptability to rapid technology changes, and of course limited access to local, regional and international markets, and unsupported infrastructure and inadequate knowledge and skills. So, Maringa, as we speak as of this hour, the roundtable session is going to begin in just another 20 minutes' time, and we will be interrogating from the governor what is their scorecard when it comes to supporting the SMEs, and of course, how will this trickle down to the common man at the grassroots.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Abi Agina, Economy Desk Deputy Editor, joining us regarding that roundtable happening at Strathmore University. Back to health matters, and Nigeria is the latest African country to join a host of southern African nations on the UK's, or rather African nations on the UK's red list, following the detection of 90 cases of the Omicron variant over the past week. The travel restriction has fueled concern that the West is applying high-handedness in dealing with the coronavirus when dealing with Africa. Data shows that European nations that have tested far more cases of the variant are yet to be slapped with travel restrictions. The Nigerian High Commission in the United Kingdom has dismissed the measures as vaccine apartheid, adding to a long list of prominent African leaders who have pointed an accusing finger at the West for leaving Africa behind in efforts to control the virus. Vaccination levels of the continent remain woefully low in comparison to the developed world. In Nigeria, as of 5th December, there had been just 4.8 doses given per 100 people, compared with more than 178 per 100 persons in the UK. Still on matters Omicron variant, at least 38 countries have reported cases of the new Omicron variant of the coronavirus. US President Joe Biden calls the variant a cause for concern and not panic, as scientists work to determine whether it is more dangerous than other strains. Precautionary measures threaten global recovery from the pandemic, with South Africa crying foul at travel restrictions imposed.
This turbulence of the booking and the flight changing and then arranging, finding out where you get your PCR tests and driving 10 miles to go and book it, it takes its toll. You force people to do something, but allow them to do it.
When those were put in, the only cases we knew about were in Southern Africa. And really those restrictions were put in to prevent new variants from coming to the United States and to protect the American people from new variants. We know it has many mutations, more mutations than prior variants, and many of those mutations have been associated with more transmissible variants, with evasion of some of our therapeutics, and potentially evasion of some of our immunity, and that's what we're watching really carefully.
As we respect the right of every country to take measures to protect their people, the sustained global cooperation we need to overcome the pandemic necessitates that we are led by science and not by emotion and not by political considerations.
Indeed, South Africa, right there, the President Cyril Ramaphosa talking about those vaccine, or rather the vaccine apartheid, as well as the imposed travel restrictions, and we do hope that the situation does change. Still on health matters, but to malaria, and the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization, Gavi, has approved $155 million to facilitate the rollout of the first ever malaria vaccine distribution in Africa. KTN's Chebet Birir spoke to an expert on what the contribution of this vaccine will mean for Kenya and Africa at large. Take a look.
The first vaccine for malaria, a disease that kills more than 200,000 children in Africa each year, is set to be deployed more widely after more than 3 decades of work. The vaccine developed by GlaxoSmithKline and its partners won a recommendation from the World Health Organization for use in children in sub-Saharan Africa and other regions.